Welcome to my presentation. Revision online classes to final year BCom students. Subject auditing. PPT prepared and presentation uh, doing by Mr. Vinay Kumar C, Assistant Professor of Commerce, SVS College, Bantwal, Dakshina Kannada. The auditing is the subject. It covers the various chapters. The first chapter consists of meaning and definition, objects, advantages and limitation of auditing. Let us discuss what do you mean by auditing. Auditing in the literal sense. The term audit derived from the Latin word audire, which means to hear. The hearing from the bookkeepers, all the accounts relating to the business came to be known as audit, or also called as auditing. The persons who hear, that means who heard from the bookkeepers all the accounts relating to the business came to be known as auditors. So, literally, audit or auditing means hearing and auditors mean hearers. The modern concept of auditing consists, it is borne out by the definition given by several writers on the subject auditing. According to Spicer and Pegler, auditing such an examination of books of the accounts, voucher of the business, as will enable the auditor to satisfy himself that the balance sheet is properly drawn up so as to give true and fair view of state of affairs of the business, and whether the profit and loss account gives true and fair view of the profit or loss for the financial period. So, audit denotes the examination of the balance sheet and profit and loss account prepared by others together with the books of accounts. Next, elements or features of auditing, and also it may be audit. This is very important uh, for the students. In an examination, the question may be arise: write the elements of auditing or write the features of auditing. Also, they call as the elements of audit. Also, they're telling the features of audit. So, any question may came to your examination, you give the following features. The first one is systematic and scientific examination of books and financial statements. I told that auditing is a systematic and scientific examination of the books of accounts and the financial statements of the business. So basically, the commerce students, you are all are familiar with the financial statements. The financial statement that incurs trading and loss account, trading account, profit and loss account, and the balance sheet. So this auditing is done through intelligent, analytical and critical examination of the books of accounts. So the financial statement is prepared from the books of accounts. The second features of auditing is inspection, checking, verification and scrutiny. So this is also very important in auditing. So whatever you done, that means systematic and scientific examination, that involves the inspecting, comparing, checking. So inspecting, for example, you are going to inspect the asset physically. Is it that the assets is available? Is it that the assets is exist in your organization? You just in the books of accounts you are telling the 100 crores of assets is exist. So inspecting is important for an auditor. If physically you go and visit that place and check whether the assets is there or not, so that is inspecting. So similarly, checking, reviewing, ascertaining, scrutinizing, examining, verifying. So these are all are related to the vouchers also. So you can verify that vouchers, you can examine that vouchers, relating to the supporting of the transaction. So inspection, checking, verification and scrutiny, it is a part of features of auditing. Next, verification of assets and liability. So in an organization, the, the company having the both assets and liabilities. So auditor should verify assets with physical inspection and also the liabilities also as shown in the balance sheet. So verification of assets and liability, it is a part of features of auditing. Next, move on to examination of the books of accounts prepared by others. Even though the auditing work is done by your subordinate, your colleagues also, maybe the employees of the concern, they may be prepared that accounts. So you are examining those books. So examination of books of accounts prepared by other, it is also the part of features of auditing. Next, examination of books of accounts by a qualified person. So this is very important. Even though for any type of work we are doing, the qualification is too important. So you are familiar with those things. So what if you want to do the some engineering work, it requires the engineer. Okay, and similarly, the whatever the work is done by doctors, that is a professional work. So that person also required a qualification. Okay, similarly in auditing also we are going to recruit the qualified person. Who is qualified person in auditing? So in an auditing we are going to recruit the person who is completed a chartered accountant examination. So chartered accountants are the person qualified for the job of auditing. So not only these various features, even though you can add the examination on the basis of documentary evidence, and also you can add the applies to the business concern as well as to non-business concern, like that. The next topic, the objectives of audit or auditing. This is an important question in an examination. Particularly the specific question maybe arises towards the objectives of audit. The objectives of audit are classified into primary objectives and as well as secondary objectives. Basically, the primary objectives is relates to the examining the books of accounts and records, so as to find out whether the books of accounts as required by law are kept. But the secondary objectives of auditing, it incurs several, like detection and prevention of errors, and also the detection and prevention of frauds. First one, the detection and prevention of errors. Errors, wherever you see the errors maybe arises, even though in accounting also the numbers of errors may be occurs. Errors of omission, errors of correction, errors of principles, like that, the several. Okay, so that is, you should, as an auditor, you should detect that error, and then you insist the person who is handling to prevent those errors, you don't do that errors again and again. So that is a prevention of errors. So you insist them to not done that type of errors also. The errors refers to unintentional misstatements or misdescriptions in the records or the books of account by the bookkeepers. So, detection and prevention of frauds incurs several. So basically, the fraud means false material representation or the false entry made by the prior knowledge of its falsity or without belief in its true with the view of defraud somebody. So detection of fraud, it is one type of mistakes are done by the bookkeepers. It is intentionally done by those bookkeepers. So detection of fraud is one of the subsidiary objectives of the auditing. In fact, initially audit was conducted for the purpose of detecting fraud whenever there was a suspicion. Next, move on to the another topic, that is advantages of audit. So this question maybe came to your examination for 10 marks or for 20 marks. So you don't write a simple numbers, the 10 and advantages towards auditing, not like that. Okay, if they are asking specific questions towards an advantages of auditing, you should make it a classification. The first one is the advantages to business enterprises and the management. Uh, Secondly, the advantages of auditing to the owners of business, and then advantages of auditing to others. So let us discuss one by one. The auditing is also helps to the business enterprise and management. How? The first one, audit ensures the accuracy or the correctness of the books of account. It is very important because you are spending a lot of money to construct the business, okay, construct the company. Okay, there are numbers of people they are working, so you are going to earn the profit. So is it the company is running successfully? Is it any errors, any fraud that may occur in your organization? You need to find out. Okay, the auditing which helps to you to find out whether the whether the person who is working in an organization or as a bookkeeper or any employee, they are making a mistake. That mistake may lead to the that mistake may become an expensive to the a company, like that. So if you do, or if you are doing an auditing, definitely it give the correctness or accuracy of the books of accounts. So it is always helpful to the management as well as the enterprise. Even though the auditing helps the enterprise and the management to ascertain whether the legal requirements in the matters of accounts, returns, and the statements are compliant with, and also it indicates the true and cause of fluctuation in expenses and incomes and the true financial position of the concern. So auditing is a continuous process which is done in an organization regularly, even though the company may be a sole renting company, or it may be the partnership, or it may be the joint venture. So the the fluctuations in expenses and the income and the true financial position of the concern, it is too important. So it is one of the advantages to a business. Audit examination makes the employees in charge of maintenance of account and records regular and up to date in their work. And also audit throws light on the weakness of the existing system of internal check and internal control. And also it helps the management to take the remedial steps in time. Next, it is helps to the owners of the business. So in an organization, maybe a sole trader, that auditing assures him that all the business transactions have been duly accounted for and there are no errors or frauds. In case of partnership firm, audit account serve as an evidence of proper management. In case of joint stock company, audit of accounts and assures the shareholders that the affairs of their company are run smoothly. Next, advantages of auditing to others. Even though the auditing which helps to the lenders a long term as well as the short term can depend on audit financial statement while taking a decision to grant a credit to the business concern. And similarly, auditing which helps to the tax authorities can depend on audited statements in assigning sales tax, income tax and wealth tax of the business. Next topic, the limitations of auditing. Limitation is also called as a disadvantages of auditing. So the first one, auditing mainly deals with the procedures and technique of checking, watching, etc. It is not concerned with many important aspects of business such as finance, managerial efficiency, business ethics, etc. So it is one of the limitations of an auditing. Similarly, some experts they are saying that the auditing is a post-mortem examination of accounts. Why it is required? So already the account work is completed. Why you are go for an auditing? Why you go for verification? It is a waste of time. It is also a costly. So most of the people or most of the experts they are saying. So it is also one of the limitation. Similarly, the companies they are owing, that means they are spending a lot of money towards having a auditing practice in an organization, so it is a time consumed and as well as the costly. An auditor has to depend upon the books of accounts and records presented before him. If the books of accounts and records have been manipulated in an ingenious way, this is also one of the limitation. The auditor can do this type of fraud also. Next, move on to finally the conclusion. So whatever we are telling that these are some disadvantages of the auditing, whatever we discussed earlier. It is true that auditing suffers from several limitations, but the advantages of auditing far outweigh its limitations. That means the usefulness of auditing cannot be questioned. Even today, the numbers of companies, they are compulsory, they are doing an auditing. It is personally, it is also an helpful to the companies and also to the government also. For the welfare of the company and welfare of the nation, auditing is too important. Thank you, one and all.